Rain poured as Daniel pushed a stranger's broken car in the middle of the road. He had no idea that small act would open the door to his dream life. Before we continue this unbelievable true story, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there, because what happens next will prove that one act of kindness can change everything. Rain poured down heavily on the busy city road. Cars honked impatiently as the water rushed past the sidewalks. Amid the chaos, a young man named Daniel stood under a small umbrella, trying to protect his worn-out jacket. He had just finished another long day at a construction site, exhausted and cold, when he noticed something unusual ahead. A small blue car stalled in the middle of traffic. The driver, a woman in her 30s, struggled to push it alone while cars honked angrily behind her. She looked terrified, soaked, and desperate. Daniel hesitated for a moment. He was tired and hungry, but something in him couldn't ignore her. He dropped his umbrella, ran toward her, and shouted, "Let me help you." Together, they pushed the car to the side of the road. Rain soaked through Daniel's clothes, his shoes squishing with each step. The woman gasped for breath, then smiled weakly. "Thank you. I don't know what I would have done without you," she said, her voice trembling. Daniel smiled shyly and shrugged. Anyone would have done the same. But deep down, he knew that wasn't true. The woman opened her car door and reached for her purse. "Please, let me give you something for your trouble," she insisted. Daniel quickly shook his head. "No, ma'am. I didn't do it for money," he said softly. She paused, surprised by his kindness. "You're a good man," she whispered before he walked away, disappearing into the rain. As Daniel continued his walk home, his stomach growled. He had only enough money for bread that night. Yet, despite his hunger, his heart felt light. Helping her had made him feel alive, like he'd done something that mattered. He didn't know that this small act of kindness was about to change everything in his life. The next morning, Daniel woke up early in his small one-room apartment. The walls were cracked, and the air was cold. He put on his faded jeans and walked to the bus stop, ready for another hard day. He didn't notice the black car parked near the corner, or the woman sitting inside, watching him quietly. At the construction site, Daniel worked harder than everyone else. He carried heavy cement bags, mixed concrete, and fixed metal beams with tired but steady hands. His boss often said that boys got heart. But heart didn't pay bills, and Daniel barely earned enough to survive. During lunch break, he sat alone under a shed, eating bread and drinking water from an old bottle. That was when a black car pulled up near the gate. A lady stepped out, the same woman from last night. The worker stared, whispering, "Who's that rich woman looking for?" Daniel froze when he saw her. She walked straight to him, smiling warmly despite the dust and noise around. "I've been looking for you," she said. "You helped me last night when no one else did." He blinked in surprise. "I didn't think you'd even remember me." She laughed softly. "How could I forget?" She introduced herself as Mrs. Williams, the owner of a large interior design company. "I saw the way you worked last night," she said. "You didn't just help me, you cared. People like you are rare. Tell me, what do you do for a living?" Daniel looked down and said quietly, "Construction work, anything I can find, really." Mrs. Williams nodded slowly, studying his face. "I see potential in you," she said. "If you're willing to learn, I can give you a job at my company. It won't be easy, but it could change your life." Daniel's mouth opened slightly, unsure if he had heard her right. "You'd give me a job?" She smiled. "Not just a job. A chance." Daniel's heart pounded as her words echoed in his ears. He had dreamed of such an opportunity for years, but it always seemed out of reach. "Ma'am, I don't have any fancy education," he said nervously. Mrs. Williams smiled kindly. "Education is important, but heart and honesty matter more. You've already proven you have both. For the first time in a long while, hope flickered inside him. That evening, Daniel went home with a new light in his eyes. His neighbors noticed his quiet smile and asked what happened, but he just shook his head, saying, maybe, something good. He sat on his bed, staring at the ceiling, imagining what it would feel like to finally break free from poverty. Maybe this is my chance, he whispered to himself. The next morning, he arrived at Mrs. Williams' company, a tall glass building that looked like it belonged in another world. He felt small standing in front of it, wearing his only clean shirt. The receptionist smiled politely. You must be Mr. Daniel. Mrs. Williams is expecting you. His hands trembled as he stepped into her office, his heart racing. Mrs. Williams welcomed him warmly. Daniel, today we'll start you as an assistant in the warehouse. Watch how things are done. Learn fast, work hard, and never forget where you started. Daniel nodded eagerly, repeating, yes, Mom. I won't let you down. She smiled. I know you won't. Days turned into weeks, and Daniel worked harder than anyone else in the company. He cleaned the warehouse, arranged furniture, and stayed late to help others finish their tasks. Slowly, the workers began to notice his dedication. That new guy's something else, one of them whispered. He's not lazy like the others. Mrs. Williams often passed by to check on him. One afternoon, she caught him fixing a broken chair no one had asked him to repair. You could have gone home hours ago, she said. Daniel smiled and replied, it didn't feel right to leave it like that. She nodded approvingly. Keep that attitude, and you'll go far. 3 months later, Mrs. Williams called him into her office. Daniel stood nervously, wondering if he had done something wrong. Daniel, she began, you've shown great discipline and honesty. I'd like to move you to a better position, warehouse supervisor. His eyes widened. Supervisor? Me? She laughed. Yes, you. You've earned it. The promotion changed everything. Daniel could finally afford better clothes and move to a small but comfortable apartment. He sent money home to his mother and promised to visit soon. For the first time, life felt good, like all his struggles had a purpose. But deep down, he feared it might all disappear one day. One evening, as he locked up the warehouse, Mrs. Williams approached him. Daniel, she said softly, I've been watching how you treat people. You remind me of someone I once knew, my late husband. He built this company with kindness, not greed. Daniel looked at her, unsure what to say. You've given me everything, Mom, he said. I'll never forget it. She smiled gently. And I'm not done yet. Her words hung in the air, mysterious and full of promise. Daniel didn't know it then, but his life was about to take another unexpected turn, one that would test everything he had learned so far. A week later, Mrs. Williams invited Daniel to a private company event at a luxurious hotel. It was his first time in such a place, chandeliers sparkled above, and waiters moved gracefully with trays of wine. Daniel felt out of place among the well-dressed guests, but Mrs. Williams' reassuring smile helped calm his nerves. You belong here, Daniel, she whispered. During the event, Mrs. Williams introduced him to several important people. This is Daniel, she said proudly. He started from the bottom but works with more honesty than anyone I've met. Some smiled politely, others looked skeptical. One man asked, so, you were a laborer before this? Daniel nodded. Yes, sir. And I'm grateful for every brick I carried, it taught me to build my life stronger. The room fell quiet for a moment before the man smiled faintly. After the event, Mrs. Williams walked with Daniel outside into the cool night breeze. You did well tonight, she said. You spoke from the heart. He smiled shyly. I just told the truth. She looked at him thoughtfully. Daniel, I've been thinking, would you like to learn interior design? His eyes lit up. Learn it. From you. She nodded. Yes. You have the eye and patience for it. Daniel threw himself into learning. He studied color palettes, furniture layouts, and lighting effects. Mrs. Williams mentored him personally, teaching him the business side of things too. Design isn't just beauty, she often said. It's emotion, comfort, and purpose. Daniel listened closely, absorbing every word like a sponge. Months passed, and he began designing small projects, a cafe here, a boutique there. Each one brought him more recognition. Soon, clients were requesting him by name. Mrs. Williams couldn't hide her pride. You remind me of myself when I was your age, she told him one day. Except you're even better. But success brought new challenges. Some senior designers grew jealous, whispering behind his back. He's just lucky, they said. The boss favors him. One of them even tried to take credit for Daniel's design. When Mrs. Williams found out, she was furious. Daniel would never lie, she said firmly, defending him in front of everyone. Later that evening, Daniel thanked her. You didn't have to stand up for me, he said quietly. Oh, but I did, she replied. Because people like you are the reason I started this company, to give chances where others see none. Daniel's heart swelled with gratitude. One afternoon, as they reviewed a project together, Mrs. Williams suddenly coughed hard, clutching her chest. Daniel rushed to her side. Mom, are you okay? She waved him off weakly. I'm fine, just tired. But he could see the pain in her eyes. He insisted on taking her to the hospital, where the doctor's words left him frozen. She had a heart condition and needed rest. For weeks, Daniel managed the company in her absence, refusing to let it fall apart. He worked day and night, signing contracts, meeting clients, and keeping everyone motivated. When Mrs. Williams returned, she found the business thriving. Tears filled her eyes as she said, You didn't just help me, Daniel. You saved my dream. Daniel smiled warmly. You gave me a chance when no one else would. I'm only returning the favor. She reached for his hand and said softly, Then maybe it's time I give you something more, something that will truly change your life. A few days later, Mrs. Williams invited Daniel to her home, a beautiful house surrounded by tall trees and a quiet garden. He had never been there before. Inside, the walls were filled with old photographs, memories of her late husband, and the company's early days. She asked him to sit down while she poured tea. Daniel, she began, I've been thinking about the future, about what happens when I'm gone. Daniel frowned. Please don't say that, Mom. You're strong. You'll be fine. She smiled faintly. I wish that were true, dear. But time catches us all. What matters is what we leave behind. Her voice trembled slightly. I built this company with love and faith. I want someone who understands both to continue it. Daniel's eyes widened. You mean, me? She nodded slowly. Yes, you. You've proven your heart is pure. You care about people, not just profit. You remind me of the man who started this journey with me, my husband. Tears filled Daniel's eyes. I don't know what to say, she smiled softly. Say you'll accept it, when the time comes. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, thinking about her words. Could someone like him, a poor laborer from the street, really lead a company? He wanted to make her proud but also feared disappointing her. God, he whispered, help me not to fail her. Weeks passed, and Mrs. Williams' health worsened. Daniel visited her every evening after work, bringing flowers and updates about the company. She loved hearing how well things were going. You've done beautifully, she told him one night, her voice weak. You were my best decision. He held her hand gently and said, You saved my life. Everything I have is because of you. One morning, Daniel received a call that made his heart sink. Mrs. Williams had passed away in her sleep. He dropped the phone, tears streaming down his face. The woman who had changed his destiny was gone. The company, the workers, even the city seemed quieter that day, as if mourning her loss. At the funeral, Daniel stood beside her photo, surrounded by hundreds of people who came to pay respect. Some whispered, "She treated him like a son." Others nodded in agreement. When it was time to speak, Daniel walked to the front and said softly, "She saw something in me I couldn't see in myself. I'll spend the rest of my life making sure her light never fades." A week later, her lawyer invited Daniel to her office for the reading of the will. His hands shook as he sat down. The lawyer cleared her throat and began. Mrs. Williams left specific instructions regarding her company and personal assets. Daniel listened, holding his breath. "She named you, Mr. Daniel, as the new CEO of Williams Interiors, effective immediately." He gasped, tears welling up again. She trusted me with her life's work." The lawyer nodded gently. "Yes. She said you were the only one with the heart to continue her legacy." Daniel covered his face, whispering, "I won't let her down. I promise." In the following months, Daniel transformed the company into one of the top interior design firms in the country. He created scholarship programs for poor youth, opened training centers, and named one of them the Williams Foundation for Hope. Every time he spoke publicly, he mentioned her name, saying, "All this began with one act of kindness." Years passed, and Daniel's name became known across the country. He was no longer the struggling worker who pushed cars in the rain. He was now a respected businessman, loved for his generosity and humble spirit. Yet, even with all his success, he never forgot where he came from. He still took the bus sometimes, spoke kindly to workers, and helped strangers on the street whenever he could. One evening, as he left his office, Daniel saw a young man trying to push a broken motorcycle by the roadside. The scene reminded him of that rainy night years ago. Without hesitation, he parked his car and ran over to help. Together, they pushed the bike to a safe spot. The young man panted, saying, "Thank you, sir. Most people just drove past me." Daniel smiled. "That's okay. I've been where you are." The young man looked at him closely. "Wait, you're Mr. Daniel Williams, aren't you?" Daniel chuckled. "Just Daniel, please." The boy looked amazed. "I can't believe you helped me. You own one of the biggest companies here." Daniel placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Son, no matter how high you go, never forget to lift others." That small act brought memories flooding back, the rain, the broken car, the woman with the tired smile. He stood silently for a moment, feeling gratitude fill his heart. Life had come full circle. He whispered softly to himself, "Mrs. Williams, I hope you can see me now." Later that night, Daniel sat in his home office, looking at an old photograph of him and Mrs. Williams standing in front of the company's building. Her smile was as warm as ever. He lit a candle beside the frame and said, "You believed in me when I had nothing. Because of you, thousands now have hope. Thank you." The next morning, Daniel visited one of the company's training centers. Inside, young men and women from poor backgrounds were learning design, just as he once did. They looked up to him like a hero. One of the students asked, "Sir, how did it all start?" Daniel smiled. "With kindness. Always start with kindness." That night, he spoke at an event celebrating 10 years of the foundation. Cameras flashed, and the crowd cheered as he took the stage. "Many people think success comes from luck or money," he said. "But real success begins with the choices we make, even the smallest ones." One rainy night, I helped a woman push her car. I didn't know that moment would open the door to my dream life. The audience went silent, moved by his words. He continued, "If you ever get the chance to help someone, do it, not for reward, but because it's right." You never know how life might reward you in return. His voice trembled slightly. Kindness is a seed that always grows, even when you can't see it yet. After the event, Daniel stepped outside, looking at the stars. The city lights glowed below, just like that rainy road years ago. He smiled softly, whispering, "It all began with one simple act." A tear rolled down his cheek, not of sadness, but of peace. He finally understood the true meaning of success. As he walked to his car, a gentle breeze brushed his face, and he could almost hear Mrs. Williams' voice in the wind saying, "You've done well, Daniel." He closed his eyes, smiled, and whispered, "Thank you." That night, the city felt warmer. The word kinder proved that one act of goodness can truly change everything. The next morning, Daniel woke before dawn, as he always did. He brewed a cup of coffee and stood by the window, watching the sunrise spill golden light across the city. The world outside was alive, people rushing to work, buses honking, street vendors setting up. He smiled, realizing that he had once been among them, running to catch the first bus, praying for just one good break. He walked through his house, pausing by the framed photo of Mrs. Williams again. "You gave me more than a job," he said softly. "You gave me purpose." For a long moment, he stood there in silence, letting the weight of gratitude settle in his heart. Then he whispered, "I keep your legacy alive, for as long as I breathe." Later that week, Daniel met with a group of young designers who had just graduated from the foundation. He listened to their dreams, opening studios, helping families, designing schools. Their excitement reminded him of his early days. "You're the future," he told them. "Never forget that every success starts with service." One of the students asked curiously, "Sir, were you ever afraid of failing?" Daniel smiled. "Every day," he said. "But fear is just proof that you're trying to do something meaningful. The trick is to keep moving forward, even when you don't see the road." The students nodded, their eyes shining with inspiration. That evening, Daniel visited the old neighborhood where he used to live. The streets were still narrow, the same children still played football in the dust. An old neighbor spotted him and shouted, "Daniel, you still remember us?" He laughed and hugged the man tightly. "How could I forget? This is where it all began." He spent hours talking, sharing food, and telling stories of hope. Before he left, he quietly paid for the repairs of several damaged houses in the area. "Don't thank me," he told them. "Just help someone else when you get the chance." The people cheered, but Daniel simply smiled. It wasn't about praise, it was about passing the light forward. As he drove home under the moonlit sky, Daniel thought about how different his life could have been if he hadn't stopped that rainy night. One choice, he murmured, one simple choice can change everything. His heart filled with peace. He finally understood that destiny often begins with compassion. Years later, a biography was written about him titled "The Man Who Pushed More Than a Car." It told his story, how a poor worker's kindness turned into a legacy that changed countless lives. Children studied his story in schools, and young dreamers used it as proof that no good deed is ever wasted. In his old age, Daniel often sat by the window, watching the world with quiet joy. When people asked what his secret to happiness was, he would always say, "Help others, even when you have little. Kindness is the richest thing you can give." And when he finally passed away, people from every walk of life came to honor him. On his gravestone were the words he once spoke to that young man years ago, "No matter how high you rise, never forget to lift others." The wind whispered softly through the trees that day, a reminder that one small act of kindness can truly change the world. Sometimes, one small choice can change a life forever, but would you have made the same choice if it were you? Think about it, what would you do in that moment?